And we are live! Hello everybody and welcome to the Integrity Racing League 2021 season here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Good evening everybody, I'm Jonathan Oates and joining me tonight in the broadcast booth is Isaac Johnson. Isaac, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing mighty fantastic, thank you for asking.
Well, you're welcome for asking. We are here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for 200 laps, otherwise 300 miles, here around this 1.5 mile quad oval. The field gridded up now for the longest race of the year. A relatively thinned out field should mean that we have a lot of green flag action. Taking a look at your starting lineup, if I can get it pulled up, it does look like it is Nick Tarabuk starting on pole. We are going to go green this lap, so we're getting right into the action here on the TMG Racing Network. Very glad that you're spending your Monday evening here with us. Pace car leading the field through turns 3 and 4 as we get ready for racing in the longest race of the season. Alright, Isaac, just before we go green, what do you think are going to be the keys to the race tonight? Try and keep it brief.
Not wrecking and pitch strategy are going to be the main ones. Conserving your tires and fuel are most likely going to be the keys to success here at Charlotte.
Absolutely. Keep in mind a win means a punch ticket to the playoffs. Stages at the end of lap 60 and 120. The field off turn number 4. Ready to go green here in Charlotte. Green. We're racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. It'll be the dash down towards turn 1 now. Nick Tarabuk in the lead alongside Jacob Fife. Side by side as they head to turn 1. It is going to be Tarabuk in control. Off 2 down the back. First time tonight. Jacob Fife charging on the outside line. Tarabuk can't cover off the spot. Down towards turn number 3. Jacob Fife working that high line as they get into 3 and 4. With some of the new grip updates at this track, the high line is going to be a lot more viable than it was here in the past, but early on it's looking like that low line is the place to be. Is Nick Tarabuk going to lead lap 1?
I believe I saw the 07 car coming off turn 4 just barely breeze the wall. Doesn't look like there's any damage. They're going to keep rolling here.
I'm guessing a lot of drivers are going to be digging up top, trying to find some extra grip and some clean air. Headed towards turn number 3, it's Caitlin Height in tow of Jacob Fife and Nick Tarabuk. Keep in mind, Caitlin Height won the Atlanta race earlier this season, was not broadcasted on TMG, so she's quite used to these tracks with a lot of different levels of grip, a lot of different lanes to run. She's found success before. She will be looking to go get another win here tonight. Through turns 1 and 2 for the first time. Side by side for 5th, it is Kevin Matz alongside Eric Crow. Crow digging up top, trying to get that run off turn 2 and down the back straightaway for the 3rd time tonight. Headed towards turn number 3, it's Crow alongside Matt as they go into 3 and 4. Right up next to the wall, Eric Crow blinking out a little bit, but he is going to get the run off turn number 4. Up in the 5th goes Eric Crow. Alec Daffin side by side with Nicholas Ward, the 48 and the 99 car going side by side, double file through turns 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway, they say side by side for 6th and side by side for 5th. Off turn 4 for the 4th time tonight, it is still Nick Tarabuk leading away here at Charlotte. Back down towards turn number 1. It is that 4 car in control over Fife and Height. Down the back straightaway for the 5th time tonight.
1 car on the move already. Brad Patton's making his moves here. He's passed about 2 cars already. Looking for a 3rd going into turn 3 here on the inside of the 18 car of Cody Smith. Smith runs the wall. Patton on the blue inside line here at Charlotte. He looks like he's not going to quite clear him. They're going to have a run down in turn 1.
Side by side, you see those grip lanes up top working strong early on. But will they hang on as the tires start to wear? Brad Patton still on the inside as Cody Smith fights up top. Patton, known for being one of the more aggressive drivers in this league, not going to get clear of Smith off turn 2 and down the back. This battle for 9th. 3 different lines there being used through turns 3 and 4. That middle line fading just a little bit. You saw that 99 car slide up off the corner that stacked up Cody Smith up top. That's going to let Patton try and clear down into turn 1. He is going to clear him, but cannot get up top. Down the back straightaway now towards turn number 3. Brad Patton still on that inside line of Cody Smith, going to clear as they come through turns 3 and 4. Off turn 4, it'll be Patton and Ward side by side. Battle for the lead starting to heat up between Tarbuck and Fife. It looked as though Fife was on his bumper. You can see how much closer that 36 machine has gotten here on lap 8.
Yeah, the top 3 seem to have checked out, but mainly the top 2 have split away from the rest of the field, and they're just going at it right now.
Yeah, Jacob Fife getting a lot closer to Nick Tarbuck, just a little bit wider on entry, trying to help his exit. Coming to lap 9 of 200, getting to 5% of the way through this race. It's going to be a long one tonight. To the line this time by, the main battle on track is down for 5th. Alec Daffin clear of Eric Crow as they go towards turn number 3. Crow fighting back up top, but Daffin going to have the spot. Crow now getting around the outside of Kevin Matz. Still about 1 1/3 tenths for the race lead. Crow back up top trying to make the high line work. He is going to fall back off turn 4 into the clutches of Kevin Matz.
Oh, battle for the lead. Fife looking on the inside.
Side by side as they go into turn number 1. That high line going to have the grip advantage. I think Tarbuck might be able to hold on here unless Fife can really get a run going down the inside. They're side by side down the back straightaway. Tarbuck going to hold on as they go into turn 3. Is Fife going to try the high side? Yes, he is. Heard him get out of the throttle just a little bit there coming off turn number 4. These cars starting to wear, the tires on these cars rather starting to wear. Not sure how long a fuel run is here. Back to turn number 1, it's Fife chasing Tarbuck. Battle for 5th now. Alec Daffin getting hot on the heels of Todd Thomas in front, side by side behind. Brad Patton working his way up into 6th. Strong move around the outside line for Patton. Is it going to work off turn number 4? We've seen the high line be a little bit of a disadvantage here through 3 and 4. Looks like that is going to work out for Patton, though. Going to hang side by side as they go into turn number 1. Working lap 12 here at Charlotte. Outside line going to work for Brad Patton. He's going to have the spot off turn 2.
Patton's been on a tear.
Yeah, I got to wonder what that's doing for those tires, though, especially with all that running he's been doing up top. Specifically on iRacing, that high line really chews up tires. Just one of those things about iRacing that's a little bit different from real life. Side by side for 9th, Nicholas Ward and Tom Wetmore. Wetmore pulling on the outside line, trying to squeeze Ward down to that blue line on the bottom. Off turn 2, it is going to be Wetmore up into that 9th spot. Battle for the lead. Jacob Fife, Nick Tarbuck, and now Caitlin Height working her way into the top 3. Big run going into turn number 1 by Jacob Fife, just backing off as they get all down out of the throttle and down into the corners. You can see Fife just a lot better on exit. Here they come off turn 2. Headed towards turns 3 and 4. These 3 cars under a blanket for the race lead. 2 Chevys and a Toyota going at it. Now Tarbuck a little bit wide off turn 4. Take a look at this behind, by the way. Todd Thomas moving up the track a little bit, trying to find grip up top. Looks like it worked off turn 4. He's got a big run.
Fife looking on the inside here going into turn 1.
Here we go, side by side again.
Height's going to follow him here coming off turn 2. They're going to try and get a run off the off the bottom of turn 2, sorry, going down the back straightaway. Looks like Fife's going to slot back in line here going into 3.
Yeah, Jacob Fife not able to get the run on the bottom. Looking like that high line might be the place to go if you want to make the pass.
Height's looking to the bottom here.
This could be 3 wide if we're not careful. Everyone trying to find room as they battle for the lead. 3 cars under a blanket on lap 16. Big dive into turn 1 by Fife. Is he going to try the slide job? No, backs out of it just a little bit. Tarbuck going to hold on up top. All this fighting between the top 3 is going to let that 4th place car of Todd Thomas catch up. Fife a little narrow into the corner. Going to let Caitlin Height have the go with the race leader.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of that early fighting for the lead did not do a whole lot of good for both of these guys for their tires, and Caitlin Height, who just kind of sat back and waited, is now reaping the rewards for that, because she looks to the inside of Tarabuck coming off turn 2.
Keep in mind, though, we are only 17 laps into this run. Tires are going to be important now, but they're probably going to be a little bit more of a factor later on. We spoke a little bit about Height's experience at tracks like Charlotte. She's going to get a big run off turn number 4 and get to the inside of Nick Tarabuck. Tarabuck might have grazed the wall there as we get 19 of 20. Sorry, 18 of 20. That ticker is very fast. Down to turn 1. Here comes Caitlin Height on the inside trying to get the run.
Side by side, going down the back straightaway into turn 1. Or turn 3, sorry.
A little bit of a side draft there out of the double zero, diving it down into turn 3. That highline's a little weaker on this end of the speedway. Getting close as they come off turn 4. Nose to the line, but it is going to be Nick Tarabuck leading that lap. And in 1 and 2, that highline just pulls, especially on exit, especially with the way that these this track is profiled. It's a little bit narrower, that exit at turn 2, than turns 3 and 4. That kind of widens up a little bit more, so that allows the outside line to really get a good run going.
I heard a little bit over radio chatter, although my volume wasn't high enough to actually hear what was going on. However, they were 3 wide back there for a second.
And speaking of back there, we've got this pack coming towards the race leaders. Keep an eye out, especially for Brad Patton. Big battle going on right here behind that one machine, as they're actually back battling for P2. I wish we could do a split screen here, just don't have the processing power to do that. But the battle for P2 rages on as here comes Tom Wetmore on the outside of Eric Crow. We'll send it to our blimp cam. Get a nice wide shot of the racetrack here. Off turn 4, Tarabuck and Height getting closer together for that race lead. Tarabuck just rolling that high line, not letting anyone clear him on the inside. Wetmore and Crow still side by side behind. Patton fading a little on the high side. Take a look at this. Todd Thomas moving up top, trying to make a move. Here off turn 4, battle for the race lead is on. Caitlin Height back to the inside of Nick Tarabuck.
The bottom line just can't develop the run you need to clear the outside car, even off the corners. Even when the outside line makes a slight mistake coming off the corner, it's just not enough to get that thing to clear the outside car. I
think really what Caitlin might want to consider doing here is driving it in up top and trying to squeeze between Tarabuck and the outside wall. It'd be a risky move to pull this early on, but might be good practice for later in the race. Tarabuck sideways off turn 4.
Moves like that are more reserved for dirt racing, I know that for sure, but yeah, honestly, he doesn't seem to cling all the way to the outside wall, so a move like that is feasible. However, if it's worth it or not, that's going to be the main question.
And I think this setup is going to get looser as the run goes on. Now there's a battle for P2 as Todd Thomas inches towards Jacob Fife. Caitlin Height now going to have the run into turn number 3 that she might need to clear Tarabuck.
Ooh, clear, all clear, barely, not quite.
If there's going to be a pass on the inside, it might have to be through a slide job. Side by side off turn 4, Caitlin Height looking to lead this lap.
Also, another thing to consider when you're trying to make that outside line, or the almost the tippity top third, even though you're on the outside of the top lane, move to consider is those random gusts of wind we saw last week at Talladega might happen again.
Right, those random, definitely not netcode wind gusts could play a factor in it, although I think as long as you're not squeezing, you should be alright. Caitlin Height clears for the race lead. New leader for the first time tonight is that double zero machine. Whoa! Correct. Fife gets squeezed up to the outside wall, but keeps the spot off turn 4 and gives him a bit of a run here up to the bumper of the 4 car. Everybody now starting to migrate up top, but how long until that line starts to fade off? Down the back straightaway on lap 25, and a bit of a wiggle for Fife is going to let Thomas get to the inside.
I think Fife burnt up his equipment a little too soon. He's kind of just trying to wrestle that thing now and not even keeping it very smooth. You saw off turn 2 he almost spun it, and before that he almost got into the 78 car.
Yeah, one of the things to consider here at Charlotte, and really on iRacing in general, is that as important as it is to save that right front tire, you want to make sure that you're not overdriving on the right rear, because that could cause a lot of wear and make the car pretty difficult to handle later on in the run. You saw right there, Thomas gets sideways off turn 2.
Now these guys are keying up in chat, yet I can't hear them, so I don't think they're saying anything.
And you're seeing now, as the tires are wearing, everybody migrating up top. But they are both losing out to your race leaders, who I believe are both running that bottom line. And at least from my experience, the high line tends to wear off tires a little bit faster, particularly that right rear. But you see Terrabuck going right up top, so a lot of different lines to use here, depending on what tire has been worn out on your car and what tire you want to wear out. Big battle behind for P7. Alec Daffin holds the spot at the moment. They're going to be maybe 3 wide here into turn number 3 and 4. Take a look at this. 3 wide down the front straightaway for a moment, and a big squeeze to the outside wall is gonna put Ward on the outside of Alec Daffin as they go to turn number 1. Right to the outside line. I think Nick Ward is gonna take it here off turn 2.
This group of cars have been going at it all race so far. For almost 30 laps, they've been just passing. 3 wide, 2 wide, 1 wide, 2 wide, 3 wide, constantly all race. Eventually, it's gonna. I don't want to say it, but eventually someone's going to slip.
Yeah, and you saw there, Daffin had to really squeeze down low to try and cover off that bottom line. He might have tagged the wall there off turn 4. That 07 of Eric Chrome moving up on the inside. I think Daffin might have burnt up his stuff.
Some banter being exchanged between Todd Thomas and Jacob Fife.
Well, they are the ones right now battling for 3rd place. As here comes Michael Duell driving it off turn 4, trying to get to the inside of Daffin. Bit of a side draft, almost a little bit of contact. He is going to add that inside line, though, going into turn number 1, working lap 30 of 200. That move going to put Duell up in a P9 if he can complete it. Daffin, though, keen to fight back on the high side. They're at least side by side off turn 2. Big drive into the corner by Michael Duell, going to squeeze Daffin up to the high side, and he is going to clear this time by. Up in the 9th goes that 88 machine.
Looking at the times right now, you can definitely tell Terrabuck wasted some of his right side tires, because you can see the entry, just the sheer gap on the entry speeds, and the gap itself, the time gap, is constantly getting bigger and bigger going on entry. However, on exit, it shrinks a little bit, but unfortunately for Terrabuck, he cannot keep that gap shrinking. He always will lose on the exit, or the entrance of the corner, sorry, by running that high side, so you could definitely tell that top line is taking a toll on his right side tires. Yeah, and you got to imagine that with so many cars moving up top, that line's getting a little bit worn out. I know a lot of people say that that isn't something that is simulated on iRacing, but at least in my experiences, there seems to be a little bit of an effect of that happening. So right now, the grip up top may be starting to fade away as they're side by side off turn 2 for 7th. Yeah, just that time by coming off to turn 2, you saw Terrabuck get little cockeyed, little skewed, little, no, had a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for here? He had a little bit of yaw in the car coming off turn 2. You saw it pointed towards the inside wall a bit more than last time by. Yeah, and I'm just watching this battle for 7th, and it looks like those passes on the inside are getting easier and easier as the laps go by. Like, the run off maybe isn't as bad as it was earlier in the run, so I do think that that bottom line, with so many cars running up top, has gained a little bit of grip here. Because watch this into turn 3, Michael Duell going to drive it down to the bottom, and I don't think he's going to have too much contention here. Yeah, Patton just slips up in the middle of the corner, and Duell clears him. Back up to the battle for 3rd. It was between Jacob Fife and Todd Thomas, but now Wetmore is charging through the field in that 51 Supra and gets around Fife for 4th. And a majority of the long run cars now migrating to the bottom. That seems to be the line that's good on the long runs. It's less abusive for the tires. You see that huge arc that Wetmore has in a 3 and 4, just kind of running that middle line. It's really working out for him. Coming up to lap 35 for these drivers.
Everyone with that massive arc. That's kind of what you got to do to save that right front tire here on iRacing. You just really got to arc those corners out because you don't want to force the car to the bottom too quickly. And that is exactly what Wetmore is doing right now. Oh, and look at this. He's going to drive it to the outside, or at least he's going to try it on Todd Thomas, but could not get the drive through the center of the corner. Meanwhile, up at the front of the field, it is Caitlin Height in that 00 Alpha Tauri machine, moving away. Looking pretty calm and peaceful here out front. A 1.2 second lead for that 00 car. Definitely not all calm and peaceful here, though, for Tom Wetmore in this battle for fourth with Todd Thomas. He's trying to drive to the high side in 3 and 4. He just looks a little bit more comfortable up there than he does in 1 and 2. Sideways off turn 4, though. You saw the counter steer that Wetmore had to put in his machine to keep that thing going straight. Lap 37 underway.
Tarabuck still just hanging on to that outside line. Just refusing to give up on it.
Yeah, Tarabuck doing a good job, though, staying in second place despite his tires probably hurting a little bit in this stage of the race. But I do think that that everyone who is kind of staying disciplined on that blue line are going to be the ones to prevail. It's pretty enticing when you have the ability to go up there and try and rip the outside line, because it definitely looks a lot cooler than just arcing it into the corner. But I think that really the drivers who are disciplined on that bottom line are going to be the fastest over the long runs, as we do have some lap traffic coming into play now. Victor Avila Felix and Christopher Schetzler, the first ones to go a lap down, as Caitlin Height has put them both 1 lap down.
Oh, I heard contact somewhere.
Side by side for third, Wetmore and Thomas. Wetmore is making some good time right now. Take a look at this. Thomas all the way up to the wall, had to back out of the throttle, and is going to point Wetmore through on the inside. Up on the third goes that 51 machine. Oh, side by side now, 3 wide with the lap car. That got close, but I think Wetmore is going to prevail into turns 3 and 4 as he stays in that middle line. Really working it good through turns 3 and 4. It gives him a huge run off. And Wetmore is making good times and charging his way towards the front of the field.
So the 94 and the 48 are pitting this time by. Kevin P. Matz is also pitting. So that was Alan Rawwell and the Todd Thomas is coming to the pits too. And
there's Rowell into the pits. Todd Thomas in the 78 machine has those tires probably feeling a little bit cooked right now, so we'll see if he brings it in. Caitlin Height, race leader, stays out, and Nick Tarabuck coming in as well. Uh-oh, that's going to be a little bit hot for Wetmore. Can he get it slowed up in time?
Ooh.
I think he'll be able to.
Brakes there.
I think he'll be able to compensate that by going a little bit slower through the center. But these drivers trying to make it to about 2/3 of the way through the stage and then bringing it in for, I'm guessing, 4 tires and fuel. Good cycle so far, but a caution, an untimely caution, could catch the race leaders out.
99's also pitting.
That'll be the 99 and Nicholas Ward. That I imagine that Caitlin Height will be coming in soon, unless she is trying to make it to the end of the stage, maybe trying to reduce the amount of pit stops she has to make. Ooh. Whoa! Got a little sketchy there for Nicholas Ward on pit entry, but he does make it work. No penalties for that first group that came in, but Wetmore gonna jump into P2. So a great stop by the let me try that one again. So a great stop by the pit crew of that 51 machine. Gets him out in front of the 4 car of Nick Tarabuck. Caitlin Height through 3 and 4 still staying out on track. So a lot of these guys might just be out there trying to make playoff points, as here comes Michael Dwell down the inside of Jacob Fife with Crow stalking behind. Side by side for P2. I do think it is going to be Michael Dwell clearing as they go into turn number 1. Height's advantage at the front of the field, now 4.2 seconds. Now Tarabuck, Wetmore, and Ward, the drivers trapped 1 lap down. They'll have to try and charge their way back to the front. While we do have a bit of a lull in the action here, it'll be a good time to inform you all on the fallout from last week's race at Talladega. Never mind, they're side by side for third. Eric Crow gets that job down to the inside. But, like I was saying, now would be a good time to update you all on the fall-off from Talladega. As you know, coming on the line, Ethan Lane gave Heischman on the outside line a little bit of a bonk up the track to get the win in Talladega. The admins have ruled that illegal and have given him an EOLL penalty. However, they have not given the win to Jay Heischman, so officially nobody has won at Talladega. There are no new drivers in the playoffs, and it really has not affected much of anything.
Maybe some hurt feelings. Some driver pride, I'd imagine, but in terms of actual physical point standings, yeah, nothing was affected at all, really.
Especially because Ethan Lane already has a win, so it's not going to shake too much up. Update on your race leaders, they are still out on track. Eric Crow, by the way, making some great laps out there. He is up in a third. He might have that ultra long run car that you sometimes need to succeed here at these mostly green races. Looking at their last lap times, which I can rank based on speed. Obviously, the fastest ones are their drivers who just pitted. However, Eric Crow with a 33.5 was one of the faster ones on old tires.
One thing I want to note, I have noticed, was the gap to height to Dewell. Still hasn't dipped below 4 seconds yet, so there's still a lot of speed in that 00 car. However, a few more laps and that obviously will change due to the variance in tire lifespan.
Michael Dewell has not come into the pit lane yet.
Oh, well, that would explain why.
Yeah.
Then
the first driver who has come into the pit lane would be the 51 of Tom Wetmore, who is looking.
They're all lapped down, yeah.
Who is looking to inherit the lead with a mega undercut. But I'm guessing the drivers who are staying out on track right now are doing so for stage points. Side by side, it's Jay Heischman and Jacob Fife. Heischman on the inside, and I hate to say it, last week's winner, just kidding, is going to go up in a P4.
I mean, technically, if you EOLL the car that won, the next car in line won, so the provisional winner of Talladega, the 06 car.
The winner, but in quotes.
The winner, bottom text. Tom Wetmore just unlapped himself.
That'll be Wetmore back on the lead lap. That'll help him out if an untimely caution strikes at an untimely moment. I don't know where I was going with that. So yeah, Wetmore now up into the race lead. Or sorry, not into the race lead, but now back on the lead lap. Nick Terrebuck back on the lead lap as well, as a lot of drivers just staying out for stage points, which will also shake a few things up in the long race strategy, because keep in mind, the drivers that have pitted, they all pitted at around lap 40. We'll use that as our ballpark estimate.
41.
So, 41? Okay. Well, we can say if they pitted at lap 41, they can go 41, 82, and then things get a little tricky because at some point, you might have to start extending your pit stops so you don't have to make too many stops until the end of the race. The drivers who are staying out now, as that's the number 18 of Cody Smith into the wall off turn 2. But the drivers that are staying out now are going to have to make far less pit stops since they have 20 extra laps on this fuel run.
Also, if a caution does come out right now, sure, the cars that stayed out do lose their track position, but at the same time, they have the last lap because they're on fresher tires. If the cars that stayed out, if the cars that pitted do stay out during that hypothetical caution, of course.
That's true, but then the tables would kind of be, the turntables will have turned, because in that case, the drivers who had to come into pit actually got kind of lucky with that caution, because now they have fresher tires and everyone had to take the wave around. Can't get those fresher tires. Now, a lot of the drivers are starting to unlap themselves, so at this point, I'm not sure how much of a difference a caution would make, but I'm guessing that a majority of everyone staying out is just trying to make it to the halfway point, or sorry, not the halfway point, the stage end, to try and pick up some stage points, although Michael Dewell right now in that 88 machine is charging towards your race leader, Caitlin Height. The gap is cut down to 3.5 seconds. So we could be looking at the battle for the stage win, given if he can cut down a load of time in the next 10 or so laps.
I believe I heard Jacob Fife call himself into the pits.
That will be... Yes, that'll be Jacob Fife pitting, and that is the first, and that's going to be the first of your race leaders to come in, so that maybe they can't make it to the end of the stage. They're either trying to extend by 10 laps or make it to the end of the stage. Height stays out another lap. Does she? No, she is coming in. So it looks like they were just trying to extend it about another... Oh! Locking up into the pit lane is that 00 machine. Could that be a penalty? Michael Dewell inherits the race lead. Is that going to be speeding on pit road for the 0-0?
Don't think so, but again, we can't see what race control is doing in terms of penalties, so we won't know until we, well, see her come back down the pits, I guess.
Well, if iRacing determines her to have sped on pit road, that'll hold her in the box for an extra period of time, so we'll be able to figure out right now if this is shaken up your race order. No, it is not. Penalty is all clear. Michael Dewell has inherited the lead. Eric Crow in second, Heishman in third, William Dunn up in a fourth, who has put together some very quiet but solid runs this season, and Guillermo Alvarez up in a P5. Tom Wetmore, first of the drivers that came in last time by, up in a fifth, about 5 seconds back from Alvarez. Now we'll see when the remaining of these drivers that have stayed out are going to be coming into the pit lane, although it does make me wonder if anyone is going to try and stretch it to the end of the stage, maybe trying to clutch and coast it and just save a few laps of fuel if they need to do that.
What lap is the stage, John?
Stage ends at lap 60, no caution.
Okay, well now I'm hearing radio chatter. I guess Patton clipped the wall? I don't know, it's just what I'm hearing.
So maybe some issues with that one machine. Well, one thing this is going to shake up quite a bit, Caitlin Height, who was the race leader, now finds herself miles behind Tom Wetmore, who will inherit the race lead once everything cycles through, but will be about 9 laps sooner with pit stops. So the short pit here might work out for Tom Wetmore, just trying to get that undercut over race leader Caitlin Height.
But at the same time, Height has better tires and can go a bit longer on fuel.
That too, so there's a lot of strategy at play here, which could all get mixed up with a yellow flag. 56 laps, all of them have been green so far. Michael Dewell, your race leader. More and more drivers are ducking into the pit lane and calling it quits on this, I'm going to call it, I guess, an extended stop strategy. But it does make me wonder if anyone is going to try and stay out to the end of the stage. Michael Dewell leading over Eric Crow, Jay Heishman, and William Dunn. No one has come into the pits out of those 4.
Well, I don't know if it's they want to stay out. It's probably more of can they stay out that long. I really don't know how long the fuel run is, like maximum. You gotta pit now.
Well, let's listen in to Michael Dewell here, see if he's clutching it all through the center. He's keeping the engine on, so it makes me think that they have enough fuel to make it to whatever their target is, and this could really shake some stuff up. I'm gonna have to start writing this down. Okay.
At the same time, if you look on that onboard, you see that needle drop to about 6,000 RPM at the center of the corner, and he doesn't get back on the throttle till very late in turn 3 or turn 1, I guess, or very early in. And now Michael Dewell is yelling at the 94 car.
Oh, did we have an incident that I missed while I was trying to record some strategy?
I guess there was a miscommunication on which lane he wanted, and then just yelled at him to go low. So I guess that all worked out fine.
I guess it did. Battle for second, Jay Heishman and Eric Crow. And I can now get a quick recap of strategy. The 88, the 07, the 06, and 43 are the drivers who are on this extended 60-lap run. Michael Dewell looking to collect a stage victory here. But just thinking about the different lengths of these pit stops, if you can go 60 lap on tires, in theory, you can make it on a 3-stop. If you can go 50 laps, in theory, it's about the same. If you can go 50, 100, 150. 40 laps, that's going to be a little trickier. Because now, we're looking at a situation where it's more like 40, 80, 120, and then 160. So you might have to extend a stint somewhere along the way.
Of course, that's all assuming that this goes green all the way.
That's true, that's true. Jacob Fife coming by to unlap himself in that number 36 machine. It is Michael Dewell leading away in Charlotte. He will come around to collect the stage win this time by. So stage 1 winner is Michael Dewell, second, Jay Heishman, and third, Eric Crow.
William Dunn's pitting. Guillermo Alvarez, Eric Crow.
So William Dunn giving up on those stage points and trying to get maybe a bit of an undercut here over some of these drivers. But keep in mind, with how long they stayed out, well, that'll be the end of that strategy, but that does confirm that they were getting to the end of the stage and then calling it quits. So they're all coming in this time by Dwell, Heischman, and Crow.
Whoa, Dwell wrecked it.
Trouble! Michael Dwell in the 88
Ooh.
wrecks it entering pit road. That's your race leader. And that is going to put those 3 stoppers going 60 laps behind as their fastest driver spins, entering the pit lane. But that's just one of the dangers, trying to go this long on tires and then having to bring it in 4 pit stops. Was it just a little bit of wheel hop that got him around?
Yep.
Yeah, just got a little...
Banking.
Yeah, just the banking and a little bit of wheel hop sends that 88 car around. Now, luckily, those tires were not needed for any longer, so they can go ahead and get fixed, or not get fixed, get replaced, and send that 88 car back out and away. New leader, Tom Wetmore, on the 40-lap stint, of course. Caitlin Height, first driver on the 50-lap run, is up in a P6, 5 seconds away from your race leader, Tom Wetmore, working lap 63 of 200. So quite a bit of developments here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. 3 wide as they go into turn number 3. Yikes, this is getting close. This is getting very close. Height squeezes on the outside, going to pick up a lot of spots in 1. A squeeze to the outside wall for the 00 is going to put them 3 wide with Jay Heischman and Nicholas Ward on the front straightaway. Ward holds on. Height looking to go 2-1 here in turn number 1. A big run on the outside line is going to move Height up in a P4. A power move for Caitlin Height.
Told you those newer tires are going to become way more useful in getting back that lead.
And now that puts Jay Heischman and Eric Crow a lap down. So really, I'm not sure if going that long on tires is going to have much of an advantage other than those 10 stage points which they picked up. Working lap 65 with Tom Wetmore in the race lead. We saw a strategy race similar to this at Phoenix, with a couple drivers trying out the 2-stop versus the 1-stop, but that, of course, all got thrown out the window with a couple of late race yellow flags. Could we see a similar thing here in Charlotte, or is this going to play out naturally? We are getting closer to that halfway point of the race. Height has chopped down the gap to the race lead by 3. By about 1.5 seconds since the last time we checked in. Update on Nick Tarabuck. He is working around the lap car of Christopher Daniel. Gap to the leader is 1 second, but they have both gone 25 laps on tires.
Oh, Height clipped the wall on the back straightaway.
That's not good.
Watching this little scuffle in front of her and just heard the little crunch noise and saw some sparks fly out as we got another car in the wall. It looked like that was the 2 car.
Well, we'll get a replay of the incident off turn 4 because we've seen Height be one of the dominant cars on the long runs. This might hurt the performance of that 00. Might have just
straight too.
Oh, I might have gone back too far. Hold on. We're gonna figure this out. Oh, yep, there it is. Just a little bit of contact with the outside wall. Doesn't look too significant, but at a track like Charlotte, it could make all the difference. Height, never mind, by the way, has worked her way up to P3, so maybe not going to affect the performance too much. Her tire is about 10 laps fresher than that of the race leader. Todd Thomas falling back now to the 4th spot on track. Gone 27 laps on tires. He is one of the drivers on that 40-lap strategy. Tom Wetmore still leading. We'll see if he tries to get on a different cycle now, because what Wetmore might have been trying to do is undercut your race leader to try and get ahead at this stage of the race, but then get on cycle with that 50-lap strategy, which looks to be the preferred strategy, at least at the moment. It would definitely be a smart move out of that 51 machine. A lot of strategy going on here. Todd Thomas falling back. Battle for second going to heat up soon between Tarabuck and Height. Update on the drivers going 60 laps on tires. Right now, their highest running driver is Eric Crow, barely on the lead lap, with a lot of time to make up. So I don't think that 60-lap run strategy is going to do much other than get some stage points. Battle for second. Caitlin Height going to breeze by on the inside. It's not going to be much of a challenge out of Nick Tarabuck. Height's going to set her sights on the race leader, Tom Wetmore, as we hit lap 70 of 200. So Isaac, how are you feeling right now about all these different strategies going on, and do you have a preference as to which one you think is going to work out here?
I'm not the greatest person to ask about which fuel strategy would be the best and yada yada yada. All I know is race car go fast until you need tires and gas.
That even rhymes, so...
Yep.
Personally, I just don't see anyone beating the 50-lap run. I think Wetmore on that 40-lap strategy might be able to try and get back on cycle and be on equal tires to Caitlin Height, and that could spice some stuff up. I just don't know if he's going to try and do that. Battle for the lead off turn number 4. Here comes William Dunn coming to unlap himself on the outside line of Height. Gonna split the gap between Height and Wetmore. Back up on the lead lap goes that 43 machine. But I just don't...
Well, I mean,
Go ahead.
If this race keeps going green, then the 60-lap strategy is gonna be the best because it has the longest fuel run, and by the time everyone else is already pitted, they're still on brand new tires.
Battle for the race lead, side by side into turn number 3. Caitlin Height gonna try and get the spot on those fresher tires, and I don't think she's gonna have a very difficult time of it, as Wetmore gonna be too tight to fight back on the outside. No, actually, he is fighting back quite strong. The two Supras going at it for the race lead here in Charlotte, but it is Caitlin Height back out front. But to your point about that 60-lap strategy, I mean, in theory, if they could make it into a into a two-stop, it might have an advantage. But because they are going to need to pit again at around lap 180, I just don't know if they're going to be able to have that advantage over everybody else.
Or they can do 2 long stops and a short stop in between.
They
could do 2 60s and a 40.
They could try and do that, maybe try and split the difference. I don't know. I'm honestly not sure if they're going to have enough time to make that to make it up. I mean, Eric Crow, still the first driver on that strategy. The 40 stoppers are coming around to their second round of pit stops, and Eric Crow is still a good 24 seconds away from Tom Wetmore. But I'm not a professional strategist. I'm not one to say if this will or will not work out. I just don't have a good feeling about it. What was that?
We need a Larry Mack in the booth. We gotta get Dorman in here. He knows.
Yeah, let's yeah, you know what? Let's send him a message. Alright, I have reached out for comment to resident crew chief Robert Dorman. We'll see if he gets back.
Late model driver himself.
Late model driver and I believe crew chief. Right now, Caitlin Height, the only driver on that 50-lap strategy who has broken their way into the top 5. We have a response. For what?
He's not the easiest crew chief to work with.
No. Update on Nick Tarabuck. He has made his way up into 3rd. And Robert Dorman's call is the 50-lap run, so he agrees with me. I've gone to the wrong camera. Enjoy the chopper cam. So our resident crew chief has called it. The 50-lap run is going to prevail here, and I can't say I disagree. Brad Patton has worked his way up in a P6 and is gaining on Nicholas Ward. Patton is not one of the drivers on that 50-lap strategy. In fact, his tires are the oldest in the field. But he is making that high line work for him despite a little bit of right side damage, and he is gaining on Nicholas Ward.
Oh.
What's up?
Oh, I was just watching Patton. It looked like another one of those weird air disturbances. Well, this time it caused some sparks.
Don't like those iRacing air disturbances. The other driver, by the way, on that 50-lap run is Derek Garrison. We haven't actually seen him before in the series, but he is putting together a quiet top 10 run here in that number 15 filter time Chevrolet.
The 94 car is coming to the pits.
And here we go again. Those 40-lap stoppers are going to have to come in just about now unless they try and extend. So we'll see what Wetmore does here. 78 laps of action down. 78 laps green so far. This could get interesting. Back to your point about having to run down the drivers who pitted earlier. It does actually make me wonder if perhaps the the advantage of having new tires will be minimized towards the end of the race when there's less time to run down that race leader. So this is all stuff that these drivers are going to have to think about, but with the way that this race is playing out, they certainly got a lot of time to do it, because a lot of these drivers are just kind of spread out, not really in a fight at the moment, especially the ones that are in contention for the win. So we'll see what Wetmore does here. We'll see if he tries to extend his stint and get on strategy with the 50-lappers, or if he's going to come in now and commit to that 40-lap run. But that might cause a little bit of trouble later on if he has to go to a 3-stop. Because in theory, you might have to go 40, 80, 120, 160. Well, actually, either way, you're doing a 3-stop. Never mind. Disregard that.
I think the optimal strategy would be first 2 stops would be 40s and then a couple of 60s, right?
You might be able to mix it up a little bit. I mean, in theory, you could go 60 laps on the first stint, try and get those stage points. At that point, go 40 to make it to halfway, and then go 50 to get halfway through the last stage. Uh-oh, he's going to make it. But Tom Wetmore comes into the pits at lap 81. So he is going to...
Wasn't pretty, but he made it.
So he is not going to try and extend his strategy. He is committing to the undercut. Although, actually... Hold on. I think I see the problem now. It would not be a 3-stop for Wetmore if he commits to 40-lap stints. He would have to go 40, 80, 120, 160, which would be a 4-stop strategy in 200 laps. As opposed to the 50-stoppers, which only have to go 50, 100, 150. So it's between...
that to the pits.
And that's just more drivers on those 40-lap stints. But it is Caitlin Height leading and looking to go for her second stage. Actually, no, first stage win. If she does decide to extend to 120, although that'd be a 120-lap fuel run. So perhaps the idea here, which actually might be a lot smarter than I think, there's only a 20-car field here. So in theory, if you won both stages, got those 20 points, you could get a similar amount of points to if you just won the race. So in theory, if Michael Dewell stays out to win his second stage, he'll end up with 20 additional stage points plus at minimum, 20th place finish. So maybe that 60-lap run isn't as bad of an idea as I thought. That's an idea right there. Curious to see if it'll work out.
Casually had one of the drivers walk into the TMG booth.
Oh, who we got?
Well, he walked out.
Well, that is unfortunate.
Yeah, the TMG booth can be oftentimes found in the racing car itself, so it's not really hard to walk. It's not hard to walk in here.
Yeah, our radio transmission technology is not the greatest in the world, as more of those 40-lappers call it into the pit lane, which does extend Caitlin Height's lead to a 16-second advantage over second-place Jacob Fife. Those drivers, by the way, on the same strategy. So now Eric Crow, the first of the 50, the first of, I believe, the 60-lap stoppers on track. Keep in mind, his tires are 10 laps fresher than race leader Caitlin Heights, but also keep in mind, he has a 20-second gap to make up.
So I was just reviewing this. It took... So, Height pitted on, like, lap 51, right?
Just around, yeah.
And she took the lead, I believe, on laps 72, 71, 72, somewhere around there. So about 20 laps to regain the lead. If you do the 40-lap stops, and you do 4 of them, in theory, you could make the gap. However, I don't know if that would necessarily translate to that late in the race, especially with the varying strategies with that, like, slower. Yeah,
and you have to push a lot, and when you're pushing that hard for a race win, mistakes tend to be there. Update on Derek Garrison. He's worked his way up into P2, so a good run here by Garrison, getting his way up into that second spot. Update on the
Smith clipped the wall. They're
Who?
3 wide.
Who? What?
Smith clipped the wall. Wetmore slotted in on over Height. They were 3 wide coming off turn 4.
Yeah, that got a little sketchy there. But watch for that 51 machine. Splits the gap between the 18 and the 00 and gets his way back onto the lead lap. So he was going full if gap car mode. Some of you will get the joke.
I believe Michelle Shoemaker
Yeah, that does sound about right.
Those amazing words.
Oh, and that's Cody Smith. Looked like he was pretty sideways there through turns 1, and yikes, he's really loose off turn 4.
Nah, it's just yacht out. They're driving good.
Driving good. All right, so update on the drivers who are on a 40-lap stint. Tom Wetmore is ripping his way through the field right now on those fresher tires, but he is only up to 8th now. He is back on the lead lap. Update on the 60-lap runs. Eric Crow, right now the highest of those drivers. Jay Heishman trying to run him in, and Michael Dewell trying to run them both down. Dewell's pit stop choke really might have interfered with this strategy, because if his plan was to try and win both stages and try and get more points than the race winner, he would have to go out and win the second stage as well, and right now he is running third in that strategy.
Points are cool and all, but that doesn't punch you a ticket to the playoffs.
That too. And getting and saying you won a race is objectively cooler than saying you won a stage.
Or 2 stages.
True. So we're up to lap 90 of 200. An estimated just over an hour, oh my, laps remaining in this race. Keep in mind, the race itself does have a time limit of 3 hours, so we will be out of here no later than midnight Eastern, as Eric Crow calls it into the pit lane. That is surprising. I wonder if he has to go somewhere. Because Eric Crow was one of the drivers on the 60-lap run, and he's calling it in at lap 90. So that's
a little early for to do the 60-40 strat. However,
yeah,
79 cars pitting too.
Oh, Christopher Daniel. Not too worried about that because he hasn't been much of a factor in this race. But if we see but if we see Dewell or Heishman pulling it in,
are they trying to break the cycle?
Are they? That would put them back on a. Okay, that's kind of hurting my brain, but that would put them on a 4-stop unless they. I mean, maybe they've got something going on there, but it's a little shocking to me.
The entire concept of pit stops is already confusing, and then you got to add fuel strategy and braking cycles, and it's just not. I'm not very well qualified for this.
Yeah, and I've choked away a fair share of races by pitting at a wrong moment, so I'm not the most qualified to talk about that either. But at the moment, it is Caitlin Height leading on the 50-lap runs. Tom Wetmore right now up to P6. Again, he has the freshest tires in the field, but has a 32-second deficit to make up, and I just don't think you can make up that much time. Yeah, I mean, he would have to make up like a second a lap for 30 laps, and Caitlin Height is coming in within the next 10, I would assume. Unless she is trying to extend to a 2-stop, but I don't think that's possible.
Hey, Jonathan.
Yes?
Did you forget to read the little, the sponsor?
You know what? That's a good point, but now that we've gotten you all engaged in this fun strategy battle, you know what we can do now? We can have the maximum attention on the sponsorship. What I'm trying to say is that this was...
We're pulling a Fox. We're pulling a Fox Sports.
This was incredibly coordinated. Isaac, I'm going to have you watch out for your race leader, Caitlin Height, and see if she comes into the pit lane, while I try and find the sponsor readout.
Yeah, I was sitting there, I'm like, you know, we kind of just jumped in the race.
We did. But now, you know what we can do? Everyone's engaged in this awesome strategy we got going on here. And you should continue to be engaged. Do not tune away. Do not look away from your TV, or I guess monitor. I don't know what you're watching this on.
Phone.
While I would like to take, and I would like to take a moment, by the way, to just thank our league sponsor, Pro Powder and Paint, which is the proud series sponsor of the Integrity Racing League. Established in 2009, Pro Powder and Paint can take care of any and every painting and powder coating need. From restoring cars to powder coating fixtures and frames large and small, Pro Powder and Paint has dedicated professionals on hand to take care of all your needs. Feel free to call 804-368-8453 or go to www.propowderpaint.com and get a quote today. Back to the action. Caitlin Height in the lead over Derek Garrison and Jacob Fife. Battle for fourth, it's Jay Heischman and Tom Wetmore, but Wetmore is pulling away on those fresher tires. So keep in mind, I do believe Heischman is one of the drivers trying to make it to the end of the stage, but he has now been overtaken by Tom Wetmore. So it's Duell and Heischman who are in positions to win stage 2, Height in probably the best position to win the race, and Tom Wetmore in a good position for the upset. Coming around to lap 100, we'll see what happens in terms of the strategies, as Wetmore makes easy work of Jacob Fife down the front straightaway. It's almost incredible watching him drive through the field like this, but you know that it's just costing him because I don't know. I'm not a fan of this strategy. Personally, I don't think it's going to work.
I heard something over the radio chatter, and it came from the 48 car. Alec Daffin was remarking about how somebody completely butchered the pit road entry. Unfortunately, I looked to the 18 car of Cody Smith, and I see him about spin the thing out in turn 3. He hung onto it, and then about yard sailed it into the pits.
Well, it sounds like we've had some developments. Let's take a look at a replay. This isn't looking good. Yep, that 18 car steps out, round he goes, and it looks like he is just going to slam onto the apron, and yikes, 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 yikes. Kept it out of the barrels, maybe? Yes, he did.
Almost wrecked it.
So very stylish pit entrance there for Cody Smith. Doesn't even look like he got a penalty, to be honest, so I'm quite impressed. Tom Wetmore makes easy work of Derek Garrison, gets his way up in a second. It'll be an 18-second disadvantage to Caitlin Height, who is going to be probably, if I had to guess, pulling it out of the pit lane soon.
It's lap 100. 36 cars coming in the pit road this time by.
And here we go. First of the 50 lappers coming in will be the 36 of Jacob Fife.
Lap 101. William Dunn is also pitting this time.
Backing off through 3 and 4, gets on the brakes, and nice and easy out of the pit lane. The first car down will be the 36 of Jacob Fife. Leader stays on track. We know Caitlin Height going a little bit longer than everyone else on this strategy. Currently only has 48 laps on her tires. Tom Wetmore has about 30 lap fresher tires, trying to run her down from from about 17 seconds back. A lot of big gaps here between your top 10, as I believe Kevin Matt, no, he is staying out on track. So a large chunk of the field spread out at the moment. We are over halfway now. We've gone green for this entire race so far, and it's honestly been one of my favorites of the season, with all the strategy that's been going on. Height backing off through 3 and 4, but keeps it out on the racetrack.
Believe the 94 should be fined because he just made a really bad joke.
Oh.
Really, really bad joke.
Are you allowed to repeat it on the broadcast, or should we just let it go?
I mean, I didn't hear the entirety of it. I heard the punchline. It's not like messed up bad.
Okay.
It's just like, wow. It's like a dad joke.
You know what, Isaac? You go ahead and let us know, what was the dad joke made by the 94 of Alan Rowell?
Oh, what was it? He was talking about not hitting somebody because they were sponsored by a hardware company or whatever. And he didn't want to be mad because he'd make a bunch of hoes mad. Or something along those lines. Yeah, you see...
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Get it?
Because gardening tools and...
Yeah.
I don't...
You see, I didn't want to repeat because...
Yeah, I should have asked you to DM it to me first. Oh, well. It's also a word, it's a word for a gardening tool. We'll let it slide. Through turns 3 and 4, Caitlin Height still stays out on track by the looks of things. No, that double zero machine gonna bring it down to pit road this time by. Another smooth entrance. We'll see if any penalties come her way, but I don't think so. Tom Wetmore will be looking to make his third stop of the race in about 30 laps, but right now stays out on track. One thing that is a little bit interesting here is that if Wetmore decides to make it all the way to lap 120, this will actually give him the stage win and not the drivers going 60 laps on their tires. So perhaps the idea all along was to try and get fresher tires to the end and win stage 2.
Now, of course, that's providing a caution doesn't get thrown.
That would change a lot, and depending on the timing.
We all saw what happened at Talladega, even though that's a super speedway. But things tend to stay calm, and then you get in the last like quarter of the race, and then just.
Yeah, but and I gotta say, one of the worst feelings in the world has got to be just getting a caution to mess up your strategy, because it's not good knowing that you were a fast car and just having something completely out of your control taken away. But that's just kind of part of racing, and it definitely spices up a lot of the action. As we see Tom Wetmore still leading away on lap 106 and probably keeping that gap around steady to Nick Terrebuck in P2. Todd Thomas now battling it out with Jay. Oh my goodness, that got close off turn 4.
Save.
Yeah, Thomas blocked Fife up into the wall.
Good save both on their part and your part, because I knew what you were about to say.
Yeah, that got a little bit close. Now Thomas down to the inside of Jay Heisman, picking up P3, and he is going to get onto the podium places here at Charlotte. With those about 20 lap fresher tires, he is going to take that spot away.
Speaking of podiums, I don't even know where I was going with that train.
Yeah, where were you going with that?
I don't know. I think I was going to make an FTF1 comment. Although I'm not sure, actually.
I'm not sure if it would
halfway through saying it. So.
Yeah, oh, Isaac, would now be the time to tell all our viewers about my incredible triumph at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps in my first ever FTF1 start, scoring a podium for LRT GP? Probably not. Anyways, update. A few more drivers have brought it in. Jacob Fife, 6 laps on tires. Not Nick Terrebuck.
Unfortunately for
Derek Garrison, 15 laps on tires. Where are you going with this, Isaac?
Unfortunately for Jonathan Oates, his teammate happened to out-qualify him.
We don't need to mention that. Tom Wetmore still leading away about 10 laps until he is scheduled to make his second stop of the race. I am still worried that this is not going to be the play. Just considering how long these guys can go on fuel, I'm really worried that this is going to have to turn into a 4-stop for Wetmore, unless he is going to try and save a lot of fuel and go a little bit long on this stint.
Yeah, this is one of those strategies that's more of a short-term gain.
I mean, it's working for now, and it's gonna give him the stage 2 victory, given that nothing goes wrong. I'm just worried about the longevity of it, especially considering not even a caution would bail him out. Caitlin Height is back in the lead lap, so it wouldn't make much of a difference at this point. I'm worried about how this is gonna progress. It is working at the moment, though, lap 111, and Tom Wetmore is smooth sailing in the race lead. That got close off turn 2, so I almost immediately regretted that. With all these different drivers of different speeds around the track, things might get a little bit sketchy here, and that might give us our first caution of the day if we ever have one. We've gone 111 laps over 150 miles green. Battle for 12th right now is between Derek Garrison and Jacob Fife. Garrison in that 15 filter time Chevrolet looking a little bit faster on the long runs than Jacob Fife. Might try and get around him here shortly. Down to the bottom line, going to try and wrap it on the blue stuff. Is he going to get down to the bottom? Yes, he is. Beautiful corner for Derek Garrison. He is going to work his way up in a P12, or at least going to try, but Fife cuts him off on the front straightaway. 8 to go until the end of the stage, and it is Wetmore in the lead.
You ever notice how bumpy the track is?
This track is surprisingly bumpy. It has not been repaved in, I want to say, since 2008.
You just watch the cars go down the corner and you'll see the wheels chatter up and down, you'll see the cars start undulating around, trying to try not to die.
It is one of my favorite, actually. It's one of my favorite mile and a halves. It's just kind of unfortunate the way it races at the moment. Confirmation, the track was repaved in 2006, so it's been about 14 years, and it's gotten quite a bit bumpier since.
That was a little bit of a, never mind.
Alright. Well, we're coming up on 6 to go stage 2. Tom Wetmore is leading and poised to win this stage. Back to you, Isaac.
Nothing, I was just reviewing a little bit of radio chatter between the, I believe that was the 94 car and the Coca-Cola car.
And that'll be William Dunn.
Yeah. They were getting a little close off corner exit of 4.
Update on a couple of things. Alec Daffin is back up into the top 10. Caitlin Height up into the top 5 despite being on a worse short-term strategy. Michael DeWell has worked his way up into P6, still not the highest of that strategy, working lap 116. And a quick shout-out to Alec Daffin, because we raced against each other in an official session, and he said good job on the broadcast. And that meant a lot, Alec, and I'm very glad to be giving you some TV coverage right now. Okay, back to your race leader, Tom Wetmore, who is looking strong to win stage 2. So that 60-lap strategy, definitely looking like the worst one out on track. Gave him one stage win, and it's not going to give him much else. Especially considering that it does seem like the drivers who were faster early on in the race were not on that 60-lap strategy, so I don't think that the... and I do say this in the nicest way possible, but it doesn't look like the highest quality of drivers in the field were on that strategy. So maybe if they had a little bit more raw pace out of their cars, it might be able to contend a little bit more. But at the moment, it's looking like the fastest drivers are on the best strategies, and that's not really shaking too much up.
What lap did Heisman pit on?
Jay Heisman's last stop came on lap 60 or around that area.
I mean, that's your Talladega winner in my heart right there. So, I don't know, the Talladega winner, but in italics, that's who we're talking about here. Yeah, I mean, you remember back to Talladega, right? When, oh man, I don't even remember who won now. Ethan Lane won the race, and the first words out of his mouth were, "This isn't a real racetrack." Well, he's not racing today. I sure do wonder why that is. Okay. Wait, was he not allowed to race today?
I actually don't know if he just didn't show up or if he wasn't allowed. I did not get confirmation.
I mean, a lot of guys
from the
didn't
admins
show up, so I'd assume that was just kind of like he was one of them. Maybe you just took a break, and it so happened to be right after a controversial super speedway race involving him.
Well, that might be it. We're gonna try out a new graphic here. We'll see if it works. Lap 120 underway. Last lap in the stage. Tom Wetmore has led this basically the entire last bit of the stage here from start to finish. It'll be 10 additional points to Tom Wetmore, your Martinsville winner, which will help him as he goes deeper into the playoffs later this year. Wouldn't entirely surprise me either if Tom Wetmore at the moment is just going for extra points and not really caring about those wins now that he does have a ticket into the playoffs. Tom Wetmore rounds turn 3 and 4 to win stage 2 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So Tom Wetmore, stage 2 winner.
Nick Terbuck's coming into the pits this time. Bye.
And that, of course, is going to be the first of those 40 lappers coming in. So Tom Wetmore wins the stage and is going to follow it up probably immediately with a pit stop. Right now, only has a 5-second gap to Caitlin Height. So even, I don't think the strategy is going to work at all. Wetmore brings it in. Is he going to make it onto pit road safely? Ooh, he's looking a little fast. But he got a lot. Yeah, he's got a lot of room to slow down before the timing line.
48's pitting.
And Caitlin Height back to the race lead. 88 car Michael DeWell coming in this time by. He won stage 1. Wrecked out coming into the pit lane, has not been in contention since. We are over halfway here at the Charlotte 300. It's Caitlin Height who has been dominant and out front. We're going to have some graphic fun now. Also, if anyone has a picture uploaded to SDK Gaming, then it'll show up when I show this little graphic. So let's hope that that's a good picture and not a terrible one.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say you might want to do a little asking around for these drivers' number files to throw up on that graphic.
You know what? If I knew
I don't know how
if
you
I
would
yeah,
that,
if
so I probably should ask that first.
If I knew how to do that, I absolutely would. There's Caitlin Height, race leader, running out of things to show.
That one looks very similar.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
again, there's only so many ways you can do a 00. So.
I think the SDK Gaming font they use for these graphics is exactly the same. I didn't choose that font. That's just the program's idea. Yes. Brad Patton has worked his way up into P2. He's got a 10-second gap to Caitlin Height, and I do believe they're on the same strategy. No, actually, I think Brad Patton is on the 60-lap runs, so he'll be coming in. Wait, no. I actually don't know what strategy Patton's on. He might be on a completely different one.
He did. I think he had a short pit at one point.
Well, let's see, because he pitted around 42 laps ago, so what? That'd be around lap 80? Okay, so he is on the 40-lap runs, trying to go maybe long on this stint.
Well, I think he did I think he pitted on a 60 and then had to do a short stop like 20 laps in or something.
That might have been it.
I
honestly haven't been paying the most attention to him because a lot of the strategy battles have been going on up front.
Either did 240s or a 60-20.
If you can take a look at his lap, actually here's an idea.
I'm pretty sure he might have done 240s. I do recall overhearing something. I hit the wall. Something. Pitting. Something. He might. I think he did call. I think he said he was pitting, and then he just like didn't and kept going. I don't know.
Update.
We have no idea what strategy he's on. Yes.
But that is Brad Patton, currently P2. So 11 seconds to your race leader, Caitlin Height. She will be coming in at lap 150. Tom Wetmore has made it through the pit lane and is currently running P6. No battles on track, except for this one between Garrison and Jacob Fife.
'99 pitting this time, Nicholas Ward.
Nicholas Ward bringing it in, currently P14. Not too relevant to the race, but a very nice livery on board that number 99 machine. So back up to the battle for fourth, because it's the only thing on track between Derek Garrison and Jacob Fife. So while all this is cycling through, I'm going to figure out what other fun graphics I can put up on screen to keep us informed of what's going around here on this this motor racing circuit.
This place where automobile racing is located.
That would be the one.
Alright, I can do that.
Lap 120.
I'm going in the TMG broadcasting blimp, the one the bank said we couldn't have.
Oh no. But yeah, it is Caitlin Height leading. Closest thing on track here is for P4. So what happens if I put this on screen? Right here we see the battle between Derek Garrison and Jacob Fife. Garrison is Garrison has gained 17 spots since the drop of the green. That is insanely impressive. Jacob Fife has lost 3, and right now they are in a battle for fourth. So we can have a little battle box graphic up, which is in a different theme to the rest of the ticker.
It's close enough.
That's just the default theme that comes with SDK. The rest of this is a NASCAR theme, which I installed for these broadcasts.
F1? Wait, is this NASCAR?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I thought it looked a lot like the F1 theme, kinda. I actually don't know. I don't know why I said that, but
yeah. Me neither. Well, in any case, Tom Wetmore, you see him there kind of in the back of the picture starting to run down these guys, but he's going to have to pit again around lap 160. So I just have no idea what his long-term strategy is here, because it's, I don't know, it's not looking great for the driver, the 51.
Who knows? Maybe something wacky will happen. Something spontaneous.
I mean, in theory, if a caution came out in between that little buffer zone between lap 140 and lap, I'm not confident in it. I'm gonna be honest.
We're running out of things to talk about because it's Charlotte.
Yeah, we really are. Here's another battle box. How about this? Oh, it's showing the car in front and behind. Okay. I'm getting used to all this. Well, look at this. Tom Wetmore just tearing through the field.
Motoring. Driving good here.
Actually, I'm going to leave that battle box up and just focus on Tom Wetmore, because that's a lot of good data to get. But I'm going to try and switch around some of the stuff here. I'm still getting used to some of these graphics that I haven't used much. I can show pit stops. Okay, that...
Wait, we could use that to find out what strategy Patton's on.
We can! Let's go find out.
Wait, no, he'll always be on 2.
Yeah,
he's on 3.
Yeah, he's on a 2-stop strategy and is gaining...
He's up 18 spots.
Yeah, wow, that's a lot, but he's losing time quite quickly to Caitlin Height, who has about 20 laps left on this stint, so we'll go ahead and go back to Tom Wetmore, who is gaining on Eric Crow.
Wait, no, because that would mean he was on fresher tires. Did he do? I think he is on the 50-stop strategy, the 50-lap strategy.
Isaac,
then, huh?
if I were you, I'd go ahead and pull up his lap times and then take a look at all the different times and see which ones are slower. Here's Wetmore making easy work of Eric Crow. I gotta be honest, the amount of time that Wetmore is making up with every cycle of pit stops, he might be able to get Caitlin Height at the end. He might.
Okay. He pitted on lap 39, because that's the 1 minute, 1:01.7. Then it was a 45, because that's his out lap. Then it went back to 31.4s. Alright, that was his first stop. So I'm assuming around lap 80. Yep, 82 he pitted again. So he is on the dual 40s.
Gotcha. So that's probably not going to work out very well. Although right now he is actually, I guess, leading that strategy. Although, wait, no, he's not, because... Okay, wait, no. He's only made 2 stops so far, so he's going for something completely different to everyone else.
I think he's doing what I was thinking was twin 40s and then do 260s?
Oh! That might actually work.
Because 60-60 is 120 and 40-40 is 80, so yeah, that equals 200.
So I guess it might work.
In theory, that kind of overcut would... I don't know. Again, this is assuming that there's no caution and we just kind of run this one out.
So there's an update on Patton's strategy. Trying something a little wild and wacky to get a win here.
We don't know about his next stop, alright? We got the 40-80.
Well, that's... if I could, I would make that in green, but that's our TMG predicted strategy at the moment. But we know that 40 and 80 are done. He might be trying to go to 140-200, which would undercut him through the first 2 stages, get him a good result in stage 2, and then undercut Caitlin Height for the win. And if it works, he's genius, and if it doesn't work, he has no idea what he's doing. It's a 16-second gap to your race leader, Caitlin Height, probably coming in around lap 150. She has done that strategy so far, and it might work out.
I'm just now realizing that the 00 that Caitlin Height is using is the Michael Waltrip 00.
Is it?
I think. I'm pretty sure it is.
Well then, I think we need a graphic for that. I'm trying to entertain myself here because
I don't know.
At the moment we're kind of in that awkward spot where there's not a lot of strategy going on.
I think. I don't know. It looks very similar.
Yeah.
Or it could just be the coloring.
Well, let's see, because we're getting to that point where I think we're going to have another cycle. Because Caitlin Height has gone 35 laps on tire, Tom Wetmore has made his way up into P2 and is reeling in Caitlin Height by about a second a lap, which makes me think the 4-stop might work.
I just got a letter from the box saying, to the owner of the Ford F-150 parked in the infield Roval, please move it. There's an FTF1 test there right after this race.
I've also been informed by Robert Dorman that he would like to broadcast with me, followed by a sarcastic comment about your abilities. I think you're doing amazing.
Yeah, well, you see,
I think you're doing amazing.
Dorman is a sarcasm wizard, you see.
Yes. Okay. So let's try and do some mental gymnastics to figure out strategy. Right now, Brad Patton has gone 59 laps on fuel. That's about the most he can go. I'm guessing is coming in this lap. Caitlin Height, 36 laps. I'm guessing is coming in within the next 13. Tom Wetmore, every cycle, has been closing the gap to Caitlin Height, but could in theory get on strategy with her by pitting now at lap 150.
Patton
and then
is
being
pitting.
on the stage. And here we go.
Patton is pitting.
So Patton going for the undercut and trying to extend to the end of the race. It's going to be, I think, Patton, Wetmore, and Height for the race win.
Wait, so he pitted... He did the 240 lap. So... He can do this and then do a 60 lap and... I think make it to the end?
Yeah. So that right there was his first 60 lap stint, and he's going to do it again. What that's going to do is it'll give him track position over Caitlin Height. It'll give him 10 laps older tires. And Tom Wetmore is kind of the wild card in all this because we don't know how much of that gap he can close down. Because every cycle he gets quite a bit closer, but the gap is still around 14 seconds. Now, he's got 20 laps left on this stint. This he has to stop one more time, and we know that. But so does Caitlin Height. So he's slightly more on strategy than I think we thought he was. Because he could pit around lap 160, make it to the end of the race on fresher tires with a deficit. Isaac, do you think that's going to work out?
Dude, my brain is mush.
Because basically what Tom Wetmore has done is built the gap so much with those fresher tires, he has negated the disadvantage of having to pit. He gets very loose off turn 2, though, almost spun it. But he's done a really incredible job of it. I just don't know if it's going to work out, and keep in mind a caution could throw this all off.
Now, if a caution comes out, pretty much every single car on track is screwed.
That's true. That would basically mess up everyone's strategy, and it would become a gamble of who was out front at the time of yellow. And I have to say, I think our likeliest cause of caution is going to be someone trying to pit from the second lane.
I don't even... yeah, I guess someone could Quinn Half it, but... I honestly think it'll come in the later lap. Someone's desperate to get around somebody else, and they'll end up causing a wreck. And even then, we don't know if that wreck will be a one nasty enough to bring out a caution.
Could be that as well. Well, here we go. Pit stop's coming up for Height, and I'm guessing around 4 laps, unless she tries to extend it a little bit more to maybe try and negate the advantage of Tom Wetmore. I mean, the other thing she could try doing is to stay out until Wetmore pits, go 1 lap longer, and have no tire advantage for the 51. That might even be the smartest thing to do. But that, of course, relies on her having a crew chief to call that out, because she's so far ahead, she would have to keep looking at the relative, and there might be enough lap cars in between to negate that. So I'm really curious to see how this plays out, and keep in mind, Brad Patton could throw all of this off. So a lot going on here in the closing stages. We're coming to 50 to go. I don't know. I think it's really going to be a battle of what strategy is going to work at the right time and who can negate everyone else's strategy. Because what Wetmore has been trying to do this whole race is be fast on the short runs to negate the advantage of the long run. But will it work out?
This race can be summed up with 3 numbers. 40, 50, 60.
Exactly.
You could do 250 lap. You could do 250 lap stints, a 40 lap stint, and then a 60. Maybe not in that order. You might want to do a 250s, a 60, then the 40, and have the better tires for the end.
Well, that's almost what Patton is doing. All right, Caitlin Height is going to be coming into the pit lane soon. Why don't we try and click around some more buttons here on SDK Gaming? What happens if I press Show Weather? All right, so an update on weather. It is May 1st, 2021 at 3 p.m. in Sim. Wind's picking up a little bit. 25 degrees Celsius. Ew, I don't know what that is.
25 Celsius?
Well, what do you think that is in Fahrenheit, Isaac?
I'd say... Hang on.
Let's look it up.
I kind of know the...
77 degrees, so a pretty cool day here in Charlotte. Lots of grip out on track. Tires probably not struggling too much. I think I just closed my ticker app. No, I did not. We're fine.
77? Dang, it's hotter right now in Cali than it is over there.
Well, it's California, so that's bound to happen. What about driver inputs?
Oh, geez,
Well, we can see the steering.
Caitlin had a puff of smoke coming out the back of her car. I thought she blew a motor for a second. I was about to say, no way.
That was going to be dramatic, although luckily blown engines aren't a thing on iRacing, so it's more that gusty wind right now. That gusty wind.
iRacing doesn't simulate random engine detonations.
Oh, here's a fun little dashboard I can pull up.
Jacob Fife is pitting. Ew,
Oh.
kilometers? That's an F1 graphic, isn't it?
Well, these all come from the basic SDK theme. This was like made in Britain, so.
Well, why did a stock car have 8 gears then?
I think they were compensating. All right, here we go. Strategery is starting to come out here. Jacob Fife coming in. Now, he is not going to play a factor in this race, I don't think, but it will let us test out our fancy little pit stop graphic. Let's see how this goes. I can't even find it. Uh-oh.
Jonathan, you're choking.
I'm choking. No, not again. Where's the thing?
Come on, man.
Oh, I can't find the pit stop graphic. Here we go.
He's going to be out of the pits by the time he's done.
Oh, that's terrible. It completely overlaps with our other graphic. Okay, never mind. All right. Yeah, Jacob Fife's down and away. He was, I believe, one of the drivers on the 40 stop strategy, so that's going to mix a couple of things up. Caitlin Height getting into the pit window. The pit window is open. It's time to box within the next couple of laps here. But I do think
a lot of F1 references in this race.
Well, I do. The thing I'm thinking is that an undercut could be a little bit more powerful than we're thinking, because in theory here, Caitlin Height could try and either overcut Tom Wetmore or try and predict an undercut and stay on fresher tires to the end. The gap's 11 seconds though, so that's a decent amount of time that could be made up with an overcut or an undercut because of just how much these tires have worn.
You're almost always going to want to have a 40-lap stint from your last pit stop to the end. We know that.
So it's possible.
However,
so could they both be... Sorry, go ahead.
Well, if you keep doing the 40s, you're not going to have that. You're going to have to do a 20-lap because you're going to be 20 laps short on fuel, right? Well, actually, wait, no.
No, because they can go
if
around
you do
60
the 40s,
on fuel.
you have to do it. Yeah, you would have to do a 60. So that strategy would pretty much be eliminated because of your worn-out tires. If you've done 60s, I think you would be in the same... No, because that's where you would need the 20-lap.
Yeah, because if you're on a 60, if you stay on a 60-lap strategy, you have to go 60, 120, 180 because you're going to be short. So that's I think why we're seeing some of these mixed up strategies. Really, the 50-lap strategy is the only one that works perfectly without having to mix anything up. 9 seconds the gap between Height and Wetmore. Pit window is open for the 00 machine.
Now, would she try and extend this as much as she can? And maybe, because she was doing 50s, right?
Yeah.
She might try and do a 60 here.
To try and get
end
fresher,
on a 40.
to try and get fresher tires for the end. Yeah, that's smart, and it could happen. I'm trying to show the time delta graphic, but this one just isn't working, so...
I'm trying to, like, do math in my head.
Oh, here we go. I go P plus 1.
There it went.
And pull up Tom Wetmore.
Matt's is... No, he's not.
No, that goes behind. Okay, so let's go up. There we go. Okay. Sorry, SDK couldn't figure out what a double negative was, but here we go. There is a confusing graphic that I can't figure out. Oh, wait, no, I know what this is. Okay.
It's a bar graph showing the percentage of time.
Okay,
so... just time.
I think the gap on the... Oh, I should really... I shouldn't try and figure this out. But I think the gap shows the gap between lap 154 and lap 156, and the time is just another way of showing the gap, I guess. So Tom Wetmore and Caitlin Height are both... Oh, here we go! Wetmore into the pit lane!
Update, Nicholas Ford has rage quit, I think. Well, probably not. He parked it, though. He is out of the race.
Well, hold on. Wetmore's into the pit lane, but he locked it up. Strategy has been kicked off. Will Caitlin Height react to the undercut? Can Nick Tarabuck try and stay out to the end? Tarabuck's not going to have enough to make it another 30 laps. What's up?
Tarabuck's pitting.
So he's not trying to stay out to the end. Caitlin Height will not cover off the undercut this time undercut. Wetmore's down and away, no penalty. So it's up to Height now to try and cover off the undercut in the 0-0 machine. Will she do it? She can come in this lap, go to a 40-lap stint to the end, and be done with it. I'm hesitant to say it's race 1 for Caitlin Height because Wetmore could still be fast enough on the short run to negate that advantage. Height is coming in this time. She's coming in hot. Locking the brakes, but makes it in safely. The undercut has been covered off. Now it's down to Wetmore to push on the outlaps. And that small undercut might just be enough to give him an advantage. Height's team needs to put together a perfect pit stop, which I think on iRacing is down to RNG. Into the box goes the 0-0 machine, stops a bit long.
I'm looking at Wetmore's outlaps right now to see if this would be his quickest one.
He's flying on track right now. Caitlin Height still in her box. She's pulling away now. Out of the pit lane. I think Wetmore made a mistake because he's falling back quite a bit.
His fastest lap was an outlap. It was a 31.2, so it has to be, yeah, 31.3. About a tenth off.
And Wetmore's charging through 1 and 2 right now. He's going to have the advantage on the back straightaway. Height pulls out in front of the Charlotte boards, and that is a huge gap for Wetmore to make up. He splits the difference between 2 lap cars and sends it in a 3 and 4. The gap now between Wetmore and Height is going to be just about 3 seconds. So it's enough.
160 is... dang, my lap data did not refresh. That's annoying. 31.333. So still not quite. He's about a tenth off his quickest time. But
so the gap now between Height and Wetmore is going to be 3 seconds. But here's a wrench in the way of everything. Brad Patton can stay out until he can't. He's got 40 laps to go. That'd be an 80-lap stint, and I don't think Brad Patton can make it to the end.
He's definitely going to try.
Well, he can try, but it's not going to work. We're going to end up with a Dale Jr. scooting away situation. I hope you got that reference.
I did not.
Oh, you've never seen the finish to the 2011 Coke 600?
Nope.
Oh, well. Dale Jr. was scooting away, and then he ran out of fuel on the last lap and did not win that race.
His last pit stop was on lap 141, so in theory he could make it.
Wait, I forgot how to do math.
Yeah, he can make it.
Okay, 20 plus 40 is not 80, it is 60. So Brad Patton can make it to the end of the race. Caitlin Height has fresher tires and is going to pass him soon. But is Patton going to try and hold her up, and if so, how much? The battle is on for the race win.
To defend a 2-second gap when the car behind you is quicker for 40 laps is definitely going to be difficult. The drivers involved aren't Ayrton Senna and Monaco. However, it's not impossible. But could he make her maybe burn up her tires a little bit trying to get around him? Well, I was going to suggest maybe wreck her, but yeah, that works too.
Okay, well, that's a different way of approaching it.
Look, man, I'm going for the most realistic approach here.
The battle box is on. The graphic is here. Brad Patton has gained 19 spots from the start of the race. Height is trying to make that one less. 1 and 2 on lap 165. Caitlin Height to the high side. She'll take the lead.
Oh.
And back to the race lead at Charlotte goes the 0-0 machine. The challenge might be over for Brad Patton.
Unless...
If a caution came out, that would be the equalizer of the field, but I just don't see it happening. Wetmore's gap to the race leader is 3.6 seconds, as I believe Height's getting caught up behind the lap car of Christopher Daniel. Wetmore now going to try and charge down Patton. Never mind, the gap's up to 4.7 seconds as he got compromised in a turn 1 by the lap car. I think it might be over.
Yeah, I think the undercut just doesn't work.
How about this 3-car battle on track, though, that we had for a second there, between Heischman, Duell, and Dunn, I do believe, and that's all happening in front of our race leader, but the gap between those cars was pretty small. It's starting to extend out a little bit more. As Brad Patton is falling off of Caitlin Height and Wetmore is falling off of all of them, I think this race might be done. All right, 30 laps remaining in Charlotte. The gap between your race leaders is growing, nearly 5 seconds at the line. So I hesitate to say it, but I think the charge is over for the field. Caitlin Height has pulled away. As they say, that hammering you hear is the final nail in the final coffin for the championship contenders' hopes.
Well, hold on now. Is anyone still like, what would it be? Is anyone still on a 60 lap strat? Like, 360s and a 40?
I don't think so. Because Caitlin Height can make it to the end of the race without stopping. Duell tags the wall off turn 4. That's your stage 1 winner. Height trying to put everyone up to 10th a lap down. Go ahead, Isaac.
Because if someone was in a position where, like somebody like Patton, if he were to pit right now, he could 100% make it, and he would have good tires. And we did the math.
He would lose a lap with only 20 to go. I just don't think it's worth it.
However, Height had to chase down Wetmore a lap down, and it only took her 20 laps to pass for the lead. So in theory, you could make the.
I think the difference is that Wetmore was in the race lead at the time of pitting, and Patton would be third 8 seconds back, and I just think it would be a little too much.
Well, okay, if you take that into account, Height had a lead. Like if you add like 3 more laps, Height already had a lead of like 10 seconds. So
I mean, it
would be close.
I mean, maybe. I don't think it's gonna happen. I mean, maybe if Patton came in and took right sides only and cut that gap down a little bit while still getting a decent tire advantage, it's a shot that he could take. But I don't know. With only 30 to go, I'm just worried it's too late for everyone else. I mean, if I'm Brad Patton, I think maybe I should try it. You know, come in, get some right side tires, but it honestly might be worth it to just claim your third place and get away with it, you know? Well, no battles on track. It's all Caitlin Height in the race lead. She's dominated so far. She continues to dominate. One of the stronger drivers on the mile and a half. I talked about at the top of the show that she was the race winner at Atlanta. Charlotte, pretty similar to that, and is right now dominating this race.
Charlotte.
Yes. Update.
What?
I think you have to look at the screen share, but we've got a graphic on screen. I wish I could figure out how many laps she led, because that'd be an interesting statistic, but at the moment that's all I got.
We're 175 laps in and people are finally starting to yell at each other, so.
Oh, what's the drama, Isaac?
I don't know, it's just, I think that I saw who was it?
Okay, we'll pull this back up.
I saw 5 Terabuck and I think the Todd Thomas, yeah, they're
update.
Kind of talking. Hi, Caitlin.
I'm out of
You're
things
having
to.
way too much fun with that, huh?
It's a fun graphic, especially when I'm out of things to talk about. Wetmore is not closing, and Height is pulling away, and there are no more strategy battles going on.
Are we there yet?
It's 25 laps remaining here in Charlotte.
Now, what would be really just fantastic and a godsend for us commentators if a caution was thrown.
I have made an adjustment to the subtitle on the ticker.
We're racing.
So
What did it say before?
It didn't say anything before. Okay, well, wait, hold on. There's a battle on track. We found one. Jacob Fife going wheel to wheel with Jay Heischman, last week's winner, kind of, at Talladega. Heischman, I do believe, has the fresher tires and is going to move by Jacob Fife. Here's something we can actually talk about. Jay Heischman is working his way through the field on fresher tires.
From what I'm hearing, Jacob Fife is also confused on how the strategy is working, so...
I've got another update for you.
Winner last week, asterisk.
He's made the pass now on Derek Garrison, who is in his first start, currently running inside the top 10. Very impressive out of that driver. Jay Heischman up into P7. Not the winner in the scoring, but the winner in our hearts. Works his way into turn 3 and 4. Unfortunately, has the same tires on as Todd Thomas. He will not be making any more progress in that department unless he has a faster car.
Unless one of those Charlotte finishes occurs.
We're pulling up the battle box. I just clicked something random. Oops. Well, we pulled up the battle box. The gap now is between Heischman and Garrison. Okay, I don't actually know how to make this show ahead. If I go -3, does that make a difference? Nope, that breaks everything. Okay, let's do 2, not -2, just 2. Battle for 7th, huh?
Well, if it means anything, there's a heat haze in iRacing. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how to get this to show properly. Do I need to click relative lap? No, that's not it. Wait. Relative lap, go to Jay Heischman. There we go. There is the gap between Jay Heischman and Todd Thomas. I don't actually know what that's showing. I think it's just showing the gap between them, that white number.
The gaps from the cars to the leader's pace, all but 2 are an even number. Never mind, they all just updated.
Okay, well, we tried. This is one of those TMG moments. Let's do something here. We're gonna let's not cycle through all of them individually, actually. Let's do this.
Height is currently lapping in the 32.7s.
Alright, we are gonna have some fun with our flag man over here. Everyone say hello. Say hello, everybody. Depth, thank you. No, okay, the depth of field effect isn't working out for us. And here they come off turn 4. There's Brad Patton.
Height's coming off 4.
There.
Race leader.
What? That manual focus effect is not good. There's your race leader, Caitlin Height. Leading. Oh, that's way too wide.
Oh.
Your leader at Charlotte.
Oh man, we have run out of.
Hey, yeah. Well, let's. There's William Dunn. There he goes. There is the green flag.
Fun fact: that green flag has never been withdrawn all race.
It's been a very clean race here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
I believe the only contact has been with the wall.
As this camera slowly gets out of focus, there's second place, Tom Wetmore.
I can't imagine doing a 600.
Me neither. I am so out of things to talk about. Christopher Daniel brings his number 79 machine into the pit lane. There's a random shot of turn 4. There's Jacob Fife, Caitlin Height, your race leader. Okay, back to Barney. We'll get this ready for the finish. As he waves his flag. Oh, okay. That took 15 laps out of the commentary. And here we go, a battle for third. Nick Terrebuck is gaining on Brad Patton with the fresher tires, 6/10 between them. Off turn 2, Brad Patton holding on for now. The tire difference between them is well over 10 laps. On board with Nick Terrebuck. Let's pull up his input, see how smooth he's being. Now those right there are some good inputs. Okay, I don't think it's very... Yeah, those inputs aren't very accurate. They're showing him turning right in the corner, so disregard those. Although we are going to have a battle here. Nick Terrebuck is gaining. Down the back straightaway and headed for turn 3. Terrebuck trying to get a run here on the outside. Sticking to the bottom. That high line has really not developed this race. It was good early on, but now all the lanes have evened out and everyone is on that bottom line.
Now this is a scrap Patton can actually defend. And not kill somebody.
That's kind of mean.
Well, no, I'm just saying objectively before, there was nothing he really could do against Height, because Height had way, way, way better tires.
All right, here we go. What place is this? Battle for third.
Third.
Into turn 3 and 4. Terrebuck trying to get the inside line moving. He's down to the inside, painting that blue line on the bottom of the racetrack. And up into P3 goes Nick Terrebuck.
Now, he's not clear yet.
He's trying his best. Back to the flag, man. 12 laps remaining in Charlotte. The battle for the final spot on the podium is on. Terrebuck. Clear, maybe. Not clear. Not clear at all. Side by side off turn number 2. Terrebuck going to try and clear up into the outside line. He's trying his best. Patton fights back up top. Not going to have anything for him this time by. Up into P3 goes Nick Terrebuck. Battle for 8th. It's between Derek Garrison and Jacob Fife. I don't think it's much of a battle. Fife is pulling away.
Well.
Whoa! Christopher Daniel on those fresh tires is flying on the outside line.
Just motoring.
Back to you, Barney. Back to you, Derek. Yeah, I mean, Garrison and Fife are kind of having a little bit of a scrap here. Their tires are about equal. Look at Garrison all the way onto that blue line. He's Harvicking his way around this racetrack. 10 laps remaining in Charlotte. Jay Heischman, Eric Crow. Gonna have a battle in a few laps here. Heischman with way fresher tires. I have a feeling this won't be much of a contest. Fun fact, I do believe Barney's official name is Barney Milton Fife Jr. III or something like that. So the interesting part about that is that his last name is Fife, and Jacob Fife's last name is also Fife.
No.
Yes.
I thought it was... I don't know.
We've been live now for almost 2 hours, and we've been green this entire race.
Hey, so, look at Christopher Daniel about to pass Caitlin Height.
For the race lead.
Never mind.
And it's for the lead. No, it's not. Christopher Daniel gets around Caitlin Height, but it's not going to make a difference in the grand scheme of things.
Christopher Daniel using those cheating Fords to win today's race.
And those fresher tires for the race lead. No, wait, what? No, sorry. For 6th. Jay Heischman gets around Eric Crow. I forgot what battle this is for, but Eric Crow on those older tires could not hang on. So Heischman takes that spot.
Now, What are the chances someone gets a little impatient?
Very low. There is not a battle on track for someone to get impatient in.
Oh!
Whoa, 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 whoa. What's going on, Isaac? Talk to us.
Alan and Height.
Oh, Alan. Well,
Tyler,
we'll get a
shot. He got tied off the corner.
Let's get a replay, because what else is there to do? Off turn 2. You'll see it from the... Nope, that's... I don't know why we're on board. All right, well, you'll see it on board from Caitlin Height in slow motion to take up more time. Yeah, that just got a little bit dicey between them right there, but I think even if there was contact, Caitlin is far enough ahead of the field that it wouldn't have made a difference. 6 to go from Charlotte. Caitlin Height has been dominant all race.
Caitlin Knight?
Height.
Yeah. You said Knight.
I did not say Height, I said Height.
I don't know, man. It's a long race. An hour and 51 minutes is the elapsed time.
We've been green.
Yeah.
All right, we've got an update, by the way, on Caitlin Height. You can see it on the bottom of your screen. Bottom of your screen
Height
now.
Probably going to win.
Yeah. Yes. I think the all lowercase letters really sells it for me.
Yeah.
5 to go in Charlotte. It's been domination by Caitlin Height. I mean, she was able to save her tires the best, got on the right strategy, and is currently leading away. Best driver, best car, best strategy. It's a winning combination. We have
AlphaTauri's a B team in F1, but over here in the Integrity Racing League,
see that
virtual stock cars.
The truth is, AlphaTauri brought an F1 car disguised as a NASCAR stock car, and that is why Caitlin Height has been leading this entire race.
See, this is what they mean when people say them cheating Yoders. This is kind of what they mean. I don't know why.
Update on the team Caitlin Height is driving for. I think I got it right. Wait, sorry.
Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, that's the right one.
You got Alfa Romeo and then Red. You got
out of ideas.
You got Alfa Romeo and Red Juliet.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm out of ideas. Caitlin Height has been dominant. The strategy battle was hugely interesting throughout the race, but the fastest driver got on the right strategy and has been leading.
Will this make Caitlin 2 for 2 on mile and a halves?
No, but it'll make her 2 for 2 on mile and a halves that are bumpy and look like Charlotte.
I'm not too fond of Atlanta.
What?
Yeah, we've talked about this. We all know that I'm not.
Well, unfortunately, you're wrong. Caitlin Height brings it through 3 and 4. Exactly. Through 3 and 4 for the second to last time. I mean, domination, right? White flags out. This has been probably the most dominant performance aside of Justin Trombley, and even then, I don't even know what to say, because Justin Trombley dominated in Homestead, but he did not lap up to 7th. I mean, it's been a dominant performance. No one has stopped her all race. It's been a longer race, too. More strategy involved. The best car, the best driver is going to victory lane off turn 4 for the final time. Caitlin Height is your winner of the Charlotte 350. 300.
300.
Darn it. So close.
You had one. We got to run. All right, tell the admins you got to restart the race now.
Hold on. Try it again. Well, Caitlin Height wins the Charlotte 300. Second win on the season. It comes in dominant fashion in the AlphaTauri / Toyota Supra / NASCAR stock car. She wins at Charlotte. And it's a dominant performance that gets the job done.
Next week's Darlington.
Yeah, Darlington next week. Probably a race going to be similar to this. A lot of tire saving and a lot of strategy. But Caitlin Height looking to burn
throwbacks.
Maybe throwbacks. I don't know if this league does throwbacks.
Don just said throwbacks.
Nice. Well, Caitlin Height wins it at the Charlotte Motor Speedway and parks it on the front straightaway. Are we going to see any burnouts? I guess you can't do burnouts. And, Caitlin, if you could pull up just a little bit more here, we could get you more in the middle of the shot. Okay, hold on. Don't pull off the track just yet. There we go. Caitlin Height has won at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So let's go ahead and pull her up for some post-race interviews I just want to zoom
Hang
in.
on,
That's all I want
Is
to
this
do.
some sort of just sick joke? You're just gonna park there on the line, not do a burnout?
Well, that's good because we can keep her in shot for the post-race interviews. We'll go ahead and bring her up now. Or we won't because I don't see her in a Discord channel.
I don't think she has a mic.
Well, that's a problem, isn't it? Okay. Well, let's let's awkwardly leave her car on screen while we bring up Jay Heishman. No, Tom Wetmore. Sorry. Who finished P2 in tonight's
Heishman got like
race.
6
Yeah, I don't know why I got confused.
last week. I did it.
All right, here we go. Let's bring up Tom Wetmore. Hey, Tom, it's Jonathan Oates up in the TMG broadcast booth. You got us?
I sure do, Jonathan. How you doing, man?
Well, we're doing great up here. We just finished up a pretty long night of racing. A lot of strategy, a lot of interesting racing out there. You were one of the drivers who went on that 40-cent strategy, who tried to go 40 laps, and then towards the end of the race, you kind of mixed it up a little bit to try and get on pace with your race, with the race leader, and eventually the race winner. But what was the thought there behind the strategy?
Well, you know, if you look at the Larry Mack faction from last year, we went green flag for 200 laps here this time last year. And, you know, for some reason I thought we wouldn't do it again this year, but I was wrong. And it sucks to be on the wrong end of a strategy call, but it was great to have our Garage Moon Power and TubeTech LLC, Toyota Supra out front for a little bit, lead a whole bunch of laps. And, you know, with 10 or 15 laps to go, we were catching Katie, but we were catching her by like 0.004 a lap, which just doesn't equate to the 9-second lead that she pulled out with her team. So great job to her.
Yeah, the other thing we got to ask you about, I mean, you have a win at Martinsville, you got to take it into the playoffs at this point. Where does your focus lie kind of later in this regular season? Are you more aiming for stage wins, trying to get as many bonus points as you can, or are you still trying to get every win you can?
Stage wins earn 1 point, but, you know, real race wins earn a few more. So, you know, when I saw that Katie looked to be just as quick as we were on the long run, we had to start midfield there due to poor qualifying effort by that loose nut behind the wheel, me. That meant we had to be a little bit off strategy to try to take a win from her. And she ran a flawless race all race long, easy on, easy off pit road. She was saving her tires to do everything she needed to win. And that last pit stop there, I was really hoping that she was going to be pitting on her standard 50-lap schedule. And she saw that, you know, we weren't going to be able to run her down. So she just waited it out until I pitted and then, you know, just basically forced her hand from there. So.
Yeah, and last thing we got to ask you about, I mean, we've seen a lot of strong results out of that 51 machine so far. You got a win in Martinsville. What do you think your championship chances are against this relatively stacked field?
I definitely think we have a good shot. Looking at the point standings, it looks like we're rolling out of here somewhere in the top 3 in points for the playoff standings, which is, you know, just a huge shout out to some of the guys on our team. Got to thank the Depth Esports guys for really coming through and helping me out with learning some of this track. I did not get an opportunity to turn a practice lap here tonight, so my first practice lap was in qualifying. So pretty steep learning curve for a really difficult hot track that was really slippery on cold tires, but just happy to bring home a pretty solid finish for him.
All right, well, congratulations on your second place finish. And here's a bonus question. Caitlin's not in the Discord for interviews, so this is now a secondhand interview. How do you think she's feeling after this incredible win here in Charlotte, which we can't ask her about?
I can tell you that she's definitely stone cold when it comes to coming out and putting down a solid finish. She rarely makes mistakes, and you know, when she does, she's happy to call somebody out who was in the wrong. But tonight, flawless race by her, flawless race by her team, and you could tell that she was watching her mirror just enough to know what we were going to be doing. And man, the stone cold killer comes out with another win. She deserved it.
All right, well, congratulations on your second place finish. We're gonna go ahead and send you back.
Thanks, Jonathan. Have a great night.
You too. Well, that was Tom Wetmore giving us the race from his perspective and giving us a second-hand interview because Caitlin Height is not in the Discord. All right, next up, we'll bring up third-place finisher Nick Tarabuck, who had a very quiet day but was able to bring it home P3. Let's go and bring him up. Nick, it's Jonathan Oates up in the TMG broadcast booth. You got us?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
It's going great up here, and I'm sure it's going great down there in the virtual race car. You had a really strong run out there tonight, and you were able to bring it home in third place. But for a while, it didn't look like you were going to be able to bring it home in that top 3. What do you think it was that got the job done tonight?
I think it was just a mixture of trying to not overuse the tires early in the run, a mixture of just about a billion different pit strategies going on, and honestly, just a little bit of luck, you know?
All right, well, we saw at the end there, that you were able to run down Brad Patton on that slightly different strategy that you had on him. He had a completely different strategy. We were very confused to what he was doing, but what was kind of the thought process there behind your strategy throughout the race?
Well, I come into these things with not much practice, not much, I guess, analysis. So I don't really have a strategy. Basically, I heard something about pitting on every 40 laps, and I was like, you know what? We're going to do that because that sounds like a good plan. And it turned out working out pretty well.
And lastly, we saw you be a pretty fast car on the really short and long runs. You had a pretty decent car all around, but do you think if a caution came out and you were able to line up in third, do you think maybe you would have had anything for the race leader?
I think maybe. I mean, getting pole, I'd surprised myself, but also that kind of solidified knowing that I had, the short run speed. So I was thinking if I had a chance to blow through some tires, maybe with like a 4 or 5 lap run at the end, I could have maybe done something. But honestly, I very much prefer green flag racing and strategy and tire wear and all that kind of fun stuff that comes along with it. So I'll take the 3rd place.
All right, well, congratulations on your 3rd place finish. Last thing we got to ask, you've put together a lot of solid runs so far. Nothing in the wins column just yet, but you're definitely working towards it. What are your championship expectations as you get towards those playoffs?
I don't want to, expect anything, but I feel like I can make it at least into the round of 8. And I was pretty close last year making it into the round of 4. So hopefully this year I can actually make it into that championship round and give them a run for their money. Last year Bristol was easily my best track, so if we go back there, I might be running pretty well, but we'll see.
All right, well, congratulations. We're going to go ahead and send you back.
All right, real quick, I want to say thank you to Mom, Dad, Chris, Katie for watching the whole thing, Josh, Justin, Tate, if you tuned in, and thank you guys for broadcasting.
No problem. Have a great night.
You too, man.
Well, that was Nick Terrebuck. We didn't get to do an interview with Caitlin Height, but I'm sure she'd like to thank all the guys back at the... Oh, what happened to my iRacing window? Hold on, I was going to do something. No, it's
wait, I just
just
want to point out
completely glitched.
my camera's
yes.
on live, and she's still parked there.
That's some
Dedication.
commitment right there. So Caitlin Height wins at the Charlotte Motor Speedway after 200 laps. A lot of strategy, a lot of action. Isaac, next Monday... Wait, is it next Monday? It's next Monday.
Yeah.
We head to the Darlington Raceway, one of the most historic tracks on the NASCAR schedule, one of my favorites to watch. I hate driving it because I suck there, but it's one of my favorite tracks to watch, one of the best for racing. We're going to see a lot of cool throwbacks, so I hope you all tune in Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, for the race at Darlington for the Integrity Racing League. But for the TMG Racing Network, this has been Isaac Johnson and Jonathan Oates. I said our names backwards once again. I keep doing that. We're signing out. Congratulations to the race winner, Caitlin Height.